From the last thing we needed to just what the doctor ordered, the Joker and the Nuggets get the last laugh against Steph Curry and the Warriors, 119 to 115. What is up, everybody, and welcome into the Winners Lounge. More specifically, the Toyota Lounge, and this DNVR Winners Lounge is presented to you by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And of course, we're here in the Toyota Winners Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR, and you, the official diehards of Nuggets Nation and DNVR, here with us. Usually win or loss. Tonight, it was kind of Schrodinger's lounge there for a bit. Was both of them right up until it was a Winners Lounge. You guys are hanging out with us in the Toyota chat. We appreciate you. Like always, I'm Brendan Vogt. At the arena tonight is Adam Matas, and next to me, my co-pilot, Superstar Dev.
Man, it feels good to be in the Winners Lounge. I did not think we were going to get here. I thought they were going to put us in the dark room.
Man, I was thinking we're going to have to come up with segments because no one just wants us an hour of, yes, they lost. Obviously, you always have to come up with segments, but when they lose, you got to get extra creative. Thankfully, Dev, just you and me tonight here for Winners Lounge. Would you like a quick recap?
Please.
Cool. This is something I've done maybe 3 times in the thousands of shows we've done together, so this is going to be a little sluggish and sloppy, which is actually my first note. Sluggish and sloppy from Nikola Jokic to open the game. Maybe looked like he had a shoe release party last night. Possibly. Some sloppy play, maybe not a ton of energy from him to start the game. Of course, he would find it before the dust settled. Back to the action here. Porter scored the first bucket on a drive, and then Murray blocked Kuminga and then scored an and-one layup, and it felt like, man, there is the energy we've been looking for. There's the start we've been hoping to see from the Denver Nuggets. Of course, slow starts were a big topic of conversation coming into the game. And the wheels got wobbly. Murray tries an insane layup, misses it off the bottom of the backboard. Kuminga scores easily. Mike breaks a 3. Pod scores an and-one on Murray. A lot of pods in the first and second quarter. Aaron Gordon got involved with a couple of corner threes from Jokic, which kept Denver afloat. But Golden State would have the lead at the first timeout after a breakdown and a wide open corner 3 for Golden State. Defense just not good enough. Nuggets trailed at the first timeout. Then Aaron Gordon hits another one out of the timeout. So he's 3 for his first 3 from deep, which is big. The Nuggets needed all 9 of those points. Mike gives up a couple of bad offensive rebounds and then decides, as sometimes he does, I'm going to get back in this thing. Hits a mid-ranger, draws some free throws, gets himself involved. Then we get to the bench minutes. They're slowly starting to trickle in. Russ is on the floor. He hits PWAT for a big 3. It's Murray and Jokic with the bench for a bit. And then Zeke comes in for Jokic. So it's Murray, Zeke, and the 3 bench guys. Russ drills an open 3. And we're sort of at the end of the first quarter now. Malone talked about this coming into the game. Not just the slow starts, more specifically, the end of the first quarter and the start of the second quarter is where Denver struggles. So far, so good. Then Zeke scores a bucket, looking great. An insane block from PWAT on Steph. We're feeling great. But the Warriors get the offensive rebound, and Heel drains a 3. Russ draws a charge. The wheels get a little wobbly after all. Nuggets lead 33-31 after 1. Julian hits a big 3 to start the second. Then we get Mike plus the bench with Zeke. It does not go well. Mike loses the ball a couple of times just trying to hold on to it or to drive. Zeke gives up an atrocious defensive rebound. Steph hits a corner 3. That's enough of that. Jokic comes back in. Nuggets down 5 with about 8 minutes. And then the Dubs go on like a 17-4 run. Remember that Christian Brown turnover where he just kind of, I don't even want to say lobbed it.
He threw that thing like in like row 5.
Row 5. Murray doesn't even bother to jump. It is not looking good. Someone has to make something happen here, Dev. And Christian Brown, who at this point in the game, who had not been good, missing layups, getting crunched on screens, lost on screens. He takes it to the rack to get himself going. He hits an and-one, then he draws the foul, then he gets a strip. Jokic gets the steal. Murray with a big 3 to tie it up. The timeout, Kerr. Everyone's feeling good. Of course, out of the timeout, the Nuggets are immediately confused. There's a blown rotation. They give up a 3 right back. Jokic hits another one. Basically, they're tied here, 57 going into the half. And at the halftime, the Nuggets had actually hit more threes than the Warriors, who had taken more, but the Nuggets were shooting a little better, although they had a turnover problem. Steph led all scorers with 15, Jokic with 12, Jokic with 14. And basically, the big rotation note here was that it was 14 minutes played for Julian Strawther and only 8 for Peyton Watson. So a lot of Julian Strawther in this game. Third quarter starts, and Jamal Murray throws down a monster reverse dunk, Dev, that frankly, I didn't know he could still do.
Yeah, that was wild. I couldn't even. No one saw that one coming, and then it looked just if you squinted, you saw old Murray for that one play.
Yeah, for that one play.
You
know, hang on, that's still in the chamber.
He has
man.
that.
He has that. And so there's a big 3 from Murray. Or I'm sorry, a big dunk from Murray. The big story in the third is that Jokic and the Nuggets finally turned their defense up. They did not play a lot of it in the first. You know, when Jokic plays defense, it looks like a lot of steals, deflections, getting his hands and his feet in the pocket pass areas, especially in the pick and roll. Strawther, Russ, Jokic, they all get involved, man. And they're able to play some defense. That brings us to the fourth quarter. Jokic gets the and one. As we're here at the close of the fourth here, it looks like it's going to be a charge. They review it. Jokic gets the bucket and the foul. That was huge. This is where Denver goes on their run. Then Jokic finds a G for a cutting dunk. Then Steph hits a 3. Jokic responds with a floater. Murray blocks Kuminga again, draws his free throws and hits him, and Looney fouls out. Gary Payton bricks a 3. Jokic hits an elbow jumper. Steph misses a 3. Mike with the big board. Aaron Gordon hits both free throws. Jokic blocks Kuminga. There's a lot of chaos. Of course, Jokic eventually... really quickly, Russ checks in for Mike with about 30 seconds left for a defensive substitution. Immediately forces a turnover. He and Murray get the steal. I think Murray's going to get that steal, actually. Jokic draws the free throws. CB gets the rebound. There's your longest quick recap of all time. Nuggets win. Dev, it is finally time for your big takeaway after the big win. And, of course, more specifically, your Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway.
My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway from this one is I don't want to be negative. I want to be positive in this game. That was a very, very big win for the Nuggets, and sometimes you have to win ugly. It is wild how Nikola Jokic can mask other people's bad play with his stellar performances. This was a game that I felt like he started out in cruise control and then just decided to just go God mode and willed them to a victory. He said, you know what? To hell with it. I'm going to shoot every single shot. I'm going to score every single point if I have to. And this is not him just hunting for a shot. I just feel like he was like, hey, give me the ball. I'm going to score in whatever way that is. This was, I feel like a B game for Jokic to start, like just, at the very beginning.
Yeah, maybe worse.
A+ finish. A+ finish.
You talked before the game, and you said one of your keys to this win was just getting Jokic the ball.
That's it.
And that was awesome, man. In the second half and the fourth, obviously Jokic just kind of calling his own number too and like being aggressive when they didn't send doubles. But there was a very clear team-wide directive there. We're just going to get 15 the ball. And by the way, even when they were down 10 and the math problem seemed to be rearing its head, and is it going to be enough to just trade twos? Jokic was hitting those long mid-rangers, or not super long, but just above the key, like not easy shots. And if he misses any of those, the comeback is off. He was so good, man. He was so good. As we knew they would need him to be at some point to win this game, and he was incredible down the stretch.
Yeah, just keyed in on what was needed from him. He was shooting mid-range in clutch time.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like,
point,
like
actually.
the point of him just going in and scoring around the rim. He was shooting the basketball, stepping out for the 3-ball. This was a down game as far as like the assist numbers. This was a down game on the rebounding. And I felt like a little bit of that early on was effort. But when the team needed him to score, he said, you know what, I got you guys. So like, let's just make this happen. So really this was a heroic effort from Jokic. They went down early in the fourth quarter, which his plus minus is, it just doesn't make sense how bad they drop off when he's not on the floor. They decided to go to him, early in. that's a good coaching decision right there of like, hey, again, we're going to have to play you 40 minutes in a game because we need you that badly. And then he just steps up, doesn't complain, doesn't, I feel like he's resting while he's on the court, but he's like, all right, I'm going to take it up a notch on offense. I'm going to make these plays on defense. This was an incredible defensive effort from Jokic as far as playing the passing lanes. He has 5 steals in this one. He almost had more steals than he had assists. Like, how often does that happen?
That's a really good point. And that's what it looks like when he locks in defensively, is he just gets in those lanes. He basically flips his offensive IQ into defensive IQ, starts reading lanes, and he has quick hands. It was not good in the first half, but man, was it great in the second. And the whole team kind of responded and played defense around him. But, the theme in the pregame was all about how Denver has kind of slow starts and then great second halves. And to some extent, even though it was tied at halftime, more of the same here tonight, particularly on the defensive end. Thankfully, they were able to get it going there in the third quarter. My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway, man, it is nice to have Aaron Gordon back. And those 3 threes were big, but you're kind of always waiting for the other foot to drop when Aaron Gordon's hot from 3. And I know he got quiet there for a little, but the dynamic he provided down the stretch, the cutting dunk, the free throws that he earned, that's that kind of last layer to Denver's half-court offense in the clutch. Of course, when they won the title, it was so big, so essential. It's so hard to guard all of it, right? And it felt like they were worried about Jokic scoring, Mike scoring. And then, Aaron Gordon was out there. So I thought that cutting dunk, hitting those free throws, hitting those threes, it's not that it was an A-plus Aaron Gordon game per se, but the dynamic that he brought down the stretch, as much as I've loved how Peyton Watson has played, and he has hit some big threes in the fourth quarter, those feel like shots defense will give them and hope they hit. Whereas Gordon presents more of the, hey, it's harder to guard us because we can do all of this stuff with all of these guys out there. And just really nice to see Mr. Nugget have some winning basketball down the stretch.
I think Aaron Gordon was incredible in this game. You talk about him, like fading later in the game. I don't feel like he faded. I felt like he stepped up on defense. It was I'm not going to be the offensive person because, Jokic has it going on. He decided to get out of the way, but he also made cuts late in the game for open dunks. He also had 15 points in this game, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. That is a stat line for you. And this is him easing his way back into it. 4 of 6 from the field, knocked down 3 3-pointers early in the game. So this wasn't a game that he didn't have it going on. He was just like, hey, it's not my night as far as I don't have to take over in this. I'm going to do the little plays. I'm going to play a little bit harder than everyone else. And that's what you truly missed. I don't feel like it's not that they don't win this game. I don't feel like they fight as hard in this game if he's not there.
I love that.
He brought it in a different way of, I'm just going to play extremely hard, and everyone else, you guys have to join. It's contagious effort. It's in contagious energy that the team desperately needs. He is their defensive anchor. And I feel like he's just such an interchangeable defender that he made it, difficult for switches. You're not able to play them in the same type of ways. Slowing down guys when they're just getting downhill. Those second chance opportunities. I feel like Golden State scored on those every single time, and then they put him in, and it's okay, we're going to limit those. We're going to slow it down. He's going to grab, rebounds in this game. So I love what I've seen from Aaron Gordon in this one.
Talk a little more about AG, and then we'll kind of go player through player, give out a game ball, get a little more in depth with this one on the other side of the break. All right. Hey, Live Well strives to make cannabis accessible to all because they believe everyone deserves to live well. They have 25, count them, 25 convenient Colorado dispensary locations with a premium selection and expert service that awaits you. I always love those reads when you feel very confident in what you're reading because you've done it before. I have been to all 25. No, I've been to only some of these Live Wells, but I do know that their staff knows what they're doing. If you're looking for a bud tender to kind of help you and be a little more educational too, some of you know exactly what you're looking for when you go in there. Some folks need to talk it out. I actually really love hearing what they have to say about their selection, their favorites. Knowledgeable, supportive staff there at Live Well, and they proudly offer a price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best value by matching local competitors' prices on eligible products. So visit livewell.com today to reserve your products online for a quick in-store pickup, or simply stop by. They can't wait to answer all of your questions about cannabis. You can't go in there and ask them about the non-Jokic minutes. They probably won't know what you're talking about. And they definitely don't want to get that bummed out while they're at work. Mention code DNVR25 in store. Receive 20% per 5 cent off one regular price item. That's 25% off one regular price item. Restrictions do apply. And of course, our Red Hawk Roofing big takeaways were provided by, this is not the right read, is it? It's the other bird one. That's what it was. Bird Call, our bird in a box. If you're on the hunt for the best fried chicken sandwiches, tenders, and salads in Denver, look no further than Bird Call. Bird Call is all about all-natural chicken goodness with a fully customizable menu. Chef-crafted salads, award-winning tenders and nuggets, incredible tots and fries, creamy milkshakes, you name it, they've got it. If you've heard Eric yelling about it, he's very enthusiastic. You can ask him about it. They just dropped something new. It's called the Bird in a Box. People are going crazy over it. Here's how it works. For just $9.95, you can build your own Bird in a Box with your choice of 2 crispy sliders, or 1 slider and 2 tenders, plus tots or fries, pickles, and 1 of their signature sauces. Or if you like it spicy, you can upgrade to Nashville hot tenders. Bird Call was hashed in Denver, Colorado, and now has 8 restaurants across the Front Range, with more opening soon. Get over to Bird Call and get your hands on a Bird in a Box. This week only, DNVR fans can score 25% off any $15 order at Bird Call with promo code DNVR. All right, and we're back. One thing that didn't work as well for the Aaron Gordon minutes tonight were the backup 5 minutes. They tried it a bit at the start of the fourth because Zeke was so bad, and Sharts is almost unplayable at this point. And they just needed to hold the line. They just needed to tread water, man. And they didn't. In about 2 minutes, they gave up the lead. They were down 5. Did not take long for Jokic to have to check back in that game. I was hoping to see a little more from those Aaron Gordon minutes, but the bench as a whole really struggled in that stretch.
Yeah, I think that this was a good game to gauge that backup center option. That's not really a big team, Golden State. And that should have been a matchup that he performed well with the center option, but he didn't. But that's not on him. I really don't feel like that was an indication of if he was playing well or not, because I feel like he still had a really good game. But maybe you have to tinker with the lineups a little bit more. You have to tinker with the matchup a bit more. And I mean, until I see those minutes go down for Jokic because they have a legitimate backup option or just somebody that they could throw out there for longer. I can't say he's playing the backup center spot.
Yeah.
That just makes it a little bit tough for me.
Plus, that's like a playoff solution, That's an 8-man rotation playoff solution that you just don't want to have to be busting out this early into the season. And so that's, nice win. You always take the win. But one of the sort of glasses of cold water here is the minutes for sure. Was it 40 again for Jokic? 40, just about on the dot. And so it's great that he's in shape. It's great that he can do that. It's great that he's so dominant. But that is just the perpetual area of concern for the Jokic era Nuggets. Before we get into the rest of the players, Kale has the game ball rating. Let's take a look. Who do you think should have won the game ball tonight, chat? Who do you it was Jokic with 38 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals and 1 block. Unbelievable down the stretch. Unbelievable defensively in the third quarter. And it just kind of occurred to me, or I just kind of remembered, remember the Steve Kerr kind of mini villain arc last year?
Oh, yeah.
He just kind of made Jokic the poster boy for getting too many free throws. And it looks like Steve Kerr is up there complaining again about the officiating. Anyway, I just always love when Jokic and the Nuggets are able to send Kerr and the Warriors packing. By the way, that was the 8th straight win against the Golden State Warriors for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean
11 of 12. Yeah, 11 of 12 last games. And
they got that who's your daddy for the Lakers. It's like they're trying to own LA.
I know it's kind of a quietly gone under the radar, but because
Clippers
there's no
is the
playoff
only one
series
that's holding them. It's the only ones holding them back. In this game, I feel like it was a little bit weird as far as with Jokic. I don't feel like they ran Jokic ball at all. I do think that there was stretches of 2-man basketball, but he got his in unique ways, in this game, where it's at the mid post. They tried to force him to block early on, it didn't work. He had to operate from like further out where I don't feel like they sent double teams his way. I really do think that he was trying to read what they were giving him, but he wasn't like just taking what they were giving. He was just like, hey, this is going to work. This is like sometimes he would go to like his second option. There was like a point late in the game where he was about to go downhill and decided, I'm just shoot this mid range.
Yeah.
Knocked it down. So I really do think that this was a defensive scheme where he was like having a time of trying to read what was happening there. And then he has 38 points where you're like, I think I was like just gauging the timeline and people were making it seem like it wasn't that good of a game. And I remember at times that I was feeling like, oh man, he could have got that rebound.
Yeah, in the first half,
like,
sure.
There's like different things he could have done. And then you look at the stat line and you're like, wow, there's no way you can say that's a bad game. These are just regular games, that's not 38, 10, and 6. 5 steals. It's not regular.
I love the point you made at the start of the show about the mid-range shooting. Because the three-point shot, he was 3 or 4 again from 3 tonight, by the way. The three-point shot coming around was huge, essential part of Jokic's becoming truly, truly unguardable. But one thing we have seen not a ton of in the last couple of years is just that dot in your eye mid-ranger. And that was his bread and butter tonight, to your point. Not necessarily the pick and roll, not necessarily chemistry with any one other player, but okay, if I go down too low, they'll probably double, but I'm wide open on the elbow. There's no help coming. I'm just going to shoot this in your face. And it's been a while since that mid-ranger felt like a weapon for Jokic, but man, was it a weapon tonight. He is so good, man. And just the outside shot, the mid-range to outside shot being there makes you even more confident in his ability to raise all tides.
I mean, the best thing for me that I've been seeing like lately, he is, I mean, it goes to say because Jamal hasn't been, playing as well. He's taken an incredible amount of shots every single time. 24 shot attempts in this one. I feel like every game he's getting closer. Like he's like averaging around that like 20 shots, which you need from your best player, which you need from the best player in the world, is him to be aggressive in that manner of like trying to hunt for shots or just putting the ball in his hands and letting things happen. So that's one thing that I really love from him right now is how much he's trying to score and just dominate in that way.
Couldn't agree more. Of course, Jokic is the constant. Even at this level, he is the constant. Let's take a look at the other pieces for the Denver Nuggets. What did you think of Jamal Murray's performance tonight?
It's hard to just keep bagging on a guy, but he's not playing well right now. He's just not. That one play, that you were like, okay, he's going to get himself. You're like, I feel like throughout the game, or throughout every single time that he plays, you'll see one splash or one play that you're just like hoping for things to go right, and they just never do. I do think that he's passing the ball well right now, but it's because the shot's not falling. I think that the processing is not there because he can't create in the same ways that he could originally. That separation is still an issue. The shot is not falling at all to where he's turning down shots. He only got 3 3-point attempts up this game. And they tried different ways to like get him open or tried different ways to like get him going. They're playing him a lot of minutes. Like there's a lot of things that I feel like the Nuggets are trying to do to make him get out of this funk, and he can't get out of it. What I will say is like down the stretch, I think that he played well enough to win the game. So you just want more of that. The expectations for him are pretty high, but it's because you know what you expect from him. You've seen him play a lot better than this. So when you say that people are down on Jamal right now, it's because we know what is expected of you, and you're not even close to that right now.
Man, 2, I think, real sliding door moments for Jamal in this game that ultimately went his way. That last block on Kuminga in the fourth, where he kind of got it on the way down, like backwards swatting. That play was huge. If he doesn't make that play, first of all, they probably don't win this game, but you're feeling a bit like he just didn't make enough winning plays. So that and then when he draws the foul on the fast break after the block, and they went to review it, I was a little worried about that review. I'm glad it stayed with Denver because if that's just a missed layup, people would have rioted, man. Again, 4 of 12 from the floor, 1 of 3 from deep. Offensively, it just hasn't been good enough. I thought at the start of the game, defensively, he was outside of that one block to start, thought he did a pretty poor job. He did make enough winning plays down the stretch. So credit to him for that. But yeah, man, it's just more of the same for Murray. He just hasn't been good enough.
The positive for Murray in this game, I feel like he was a lot better. Not just a little bit, a lot better defensively. I mean, he had 3 blocks in this game and a steal. One was like a game-winning block, if you really – I feel like you could call it that. Momentum was going the other way. He's playing the passing lanes. He's trying because I do feel like other teams go out of their way to try to go after him, put him on different spots. Also feel like, the Warriors, it could have been part of the game plan, but he didn't get schemed in the way that they're sending the double team and like forcing him in that way to get the ball out of his hands. They're like, hey, you're just going to have to beat us, or we're going to just, let someone else get it going. But I just feel like the effort was there a little bit more on defense. You just want the offense to start catching on. You just need it.
To close the game, I thought the defense was good. I didn't think it was great to start. And when I say enough winning plays, I mean literally just to win the game. Jamal did not play well. Jamal needs to improve just about all aspects of his game. But thankfully, he did make that play. He did make that block. And the Nuggets made enough defensive plays in the second half to win the game. At some point, Jamal's just going to have to shoot better. He was, I think, 42% from the floor coming into the game. He shoots 33% in this game. And too often are you sitting there going, where is the second option? If it's not going to be Mike scoring, where is the guy you can just give the ball to? And I still feel the same way about his season. Thankfully, they won tonight. Christian Braun, kind of an odd start for him. I thought he did not have a great game defensively. Not an easy assignment, but I did think he got swallowed up by the screens. He missed a couple of those layups he's been hitting so much early. He got himself going by getting to the line, and that got Denver going. But I didn't think this was an awesome Christian Braun game, even if he was a plus 23.
Yeah, I feel like in those cerebral type games, he gets baited, and they kind of go after him in different ways. I feel like early on, the Warriors went after him. They're wanting to get him in ISO situations or like just moving on screens so much that he's going to foul, and he did. Also, there was like some bad turnovers. I really do think that he started to become passive in this game instead of just trying to score or get downhill because, offensively he was not the same. The 3-ball is not there. He missed a couple of layups, which we haven't been seeing much of, and he just kind of lost at times offensively, and we hadn't seen that from him. So I really do think this is a mixed bag type of game from Christian. But that play at the end of the game,
when he laid out for that rebound,
that was incredible. You need that type of effort.
Yes.
I was shocked. He had 4 rebounds in the first quarter. And finished with 6, and one of them came at the end of the last play of the game.
Yeah,
where
still
they did not
lock.
Where they didn't. Still at the lock. But you got to stay engaged in the game, and Jokic wasn't grabbing all the rebounds, so that's Christian Braun's opportunity to still keep going. So I feel like this was not the high energy, high effort type of games that we've seen from him. But you make winning plays, you're going to stay out there. You work. You make Steph Curry work a little bit harder than what he's supposed to. You're going to stay out of there. I feel like he played well defensively, and that's what you need from Christian Braun.
So rarely do you see someone go that horizontal for a ball. It's like the Dennis Rodman picture. It was insane. Yeah, I thought he made just enough winning plays too, especially getting himself to the line. But yeah, it was, look, one way that Christian is not KCP is the screen navigation. And as a team as a whole, they've really taken a step back in that area from last year. Obviously, KCP was their stud in that regard, but they do survive this one. And Christian does just enough, 11.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. We're going to take another break. On the other side, we'll talk about the bench. We'll talk about Mike. We'll talk about what we can expect to carry over to the games to come, and we'll hear from Adam Mares at the arena as well. Bet365, where it is never ordinary, unless you're talking about Dev hitting his locks. Dev, how'd you do today?
I did okay, not too bad. It was okay. It was a pedestrian night.
All right, fair enough. Well, Bet365 is an official partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche, and of course, they're friends with us here at DNVR, where they've taught us that whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. They've got lots of early payout offers, bonuses, all those kind of things they're going to toss your way just to jazz up the experience. Right now, they have a basketball early payout offer that's good for NBA and college basketball. You're a winner if your team goes up by 20 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Plus, there's a 100% parlay boost, up to 100% parlay boost, depending on how many legs you add. Sign up now. Use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 or more to get 150 in bonus bets. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. You have to be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. And from the goats of roofing to the goats of flooring, we've got you covered at your home and office here at DNVR. Thanks to our friends at Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. It's the best place to get new flooring. They do have copycats. They're going to tell you that they have the lowest priced products around. That's because they have the lowest quality products around. Products of such low quality that Empire wouldn't even bother putting it up for sale. They wouldn't put it in your home. They're not going to put it in yours. Check out their virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how the new floors will look in any space without committing to a look. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for details. And we're back. Michael Porter Jr. was the second leading scorer in this game, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. What'd you see from Mike tonight, Superstar?
I said scoring. He's been scoring that basketball. And, I mean, he stayed engaged, like, in both halves offensively. I feel like right now they are relying on him to score the basketball. I still don't like the fact that he's not taking threes. He took 3 threes in this game. Why and how are we not up to like 9 a game? They said coming into the season that was going to be a point of emphasis. He's still not getting called out for that, like in pressers. So like maybe that's like something they're trying to pivot away from. I hate it. I really do think that he's such an incredible shooter that like that should be part of the game, and then everything else becomes easier. He's knocking down the mid-range shot. He has a floater. He's finishing around the rim. That put-back dunk off of Christian Brown's like throw-up, that was insane.
That was insane.
That was the highlight dunk of the night, like the highlight play of the night. That was wild for a guy to be able to just have that type of just grab it, go up, dunk. Like that was an incredible play. I think it's crazy, not crazy. I think that it's good that Michael Porter Jr. is not the one getting, called out or found on defense. They're not going out of their way to put him in those pick and rolls. And the Golden State Warriors was a team that did that more than a lot of other teams. Like they would make sure that there was a Michael Porter Jr. on a Steph Curry. We're going to set screens. We're going to make him think. We're going to make him, do things in that way. And I just feel like he's been working hard enough to that it's not him. 7 rebounds in the game. 22 points is the second leading scorer for the Nuggets. He's been consistent, and you need that type of consistency. So, I mean, I just love that he's staying aggressive offensively. I just want the 3-ball up. I do.
Me too. But he has been kind of consistent in this 18 to 21, I guess 22 to 9 point range, and I do think part of raising his floor has just been finding moments to go, all right, I'm making a split cut here, or I'm just cutting because they forgot about me, or I went to my left, they were overzealous on the closeout. I'm just taking this to the rim. He has nice touch with those weird kind of fading layups that he shoots on the way down almost. He likes that Euro step. So he definitely, if he's not getting a lot of threes up and not hitting a lot, this team isn't for the most part. And over the last few games, it hasn't felt like it. But I have liked the way that maybe in years past where you could mark a point, this is where Mike fades out of the game because he's not getting his threes or the ones he's shooting aren't falling. I feel like you can find the moments in the game now where Mike goes, I'm not doing this time. I'm not doing that this time. I'm getting involved.
Yeah.
One way or another, I'm going to make sure I get 6 points here in these next 10 minutes. And, he's had enough of those stretches this season where you're starting to feel good about him as a, second, ideally third option. But fortunately right now, it's really been more like a second option.
Yeah, I like the clutch plays from Michael Porter Jr. He's getting fouled on a lot of shots. I mean, you need that to be aggressive and to just knock down like the free throws and get to the free throw line. But when he gets fouled, it's at the 3-point line because he's so feared as a 3-point shooter. That's why the mid range is open. That's why you can do a pump fake and get to the rim. So really, once that 3-ball, like, it's about confidence, but also he's found a way to, like, I'm just gonna get myself involved in another way. I really do. I love the work that Michael Porter Jr. has been putting in because those are parts of his game that he did not have. I mean, first off, it was like he was only, shooting threes. There was nothing else. He's added to that game. He used to get lost a lot of times on defense and offense where he didn't know plays. Seems like he knows plays and he knows where to take his shots. He used to get lost on the second end of, games where he's not involved. Right now, he's like, no, I'm staying involved. And I'm going to find ways. So I do think that there's just a lot of moving parts for him mentally, but there is consistency there. So, like, you can't be mad at Michael Porter Jr. right now, and the effort is there as well.
Totally. And Vekislav just put it in the chat, he's just playing smart basketball. Like, there are times where we want him to just launch a bunch of threes, but that is something that Porter has been kind of coached out of Porter, right? In this offense, they haven't wanted him to do that necessarily over the years. They've tried to make him a more pick your spots, high IQ player. So it's hard to get both, I think. That is a bit of a tightrope walk, but he is playing smart offense right now. And the mid-ranger, man, over the last year and a half, it just feels like he's figured out he can do that too,
Yeah. Someone just said that he has a short leash. I'm going to tell you something. He does not have as short of a leash as he once did.
Yeah, it's true. It's very different.
He threw the ball off the goddamn backboard. He had no chance in hell of trying to finish that play. That was a horrible play. Do you remember this play?
100% is the funniest thing.
Tried to throw off the backboard, didn't get it. The other team runs the other way.
Not only that, he gets the rebound, doesn't get a shot off, and then shoots an air ball fading mid-ranger.
Bro, Malone, he would have been like, hey, come on, man. Just come on with me, like in the past. But, like, that's him, like, doing the little things that is keeping him on the floor that you can make a dumb play like that, where you have those type of plays where you venture off. So I think that, like, there's progress. There really is progress.
There is progress. I think it's actually been a sneaky, consistent, good start to Mike offensively this season. But defensively, I think he needs to be better more often than not. Tonight, not the problem, though. -1, he did play with the bench, though, in that second quarter. So that was the rotation tonight, Mike with the bench. Russell Westbrook, 22 minutes off the bench tonight. Dev, 3 of 7 from the floor, 7 points, 5 assists, 1 turnover. But he did close the final 30 seconds for Mike, the final defensive possession, and immediately helped force a loose ball that Maria corrals. And that was just kind of an awesome moment to see Malone push that button and get exactly what he wanted out of it.
Man, really, it's wonderful to be Russell Westbrook in Denver. He should really just stay here.
He should.
It doesn't matter how bad of a game he has. He just has to have a moment in the game.
And we're all grateful.
We're all grateful
so
for
true,
it.
actually.
You forget about everything else. Like, that's just like the type of player that he is. Also, I think he forgets about those other bad plays. Because, like, when it matters or at those times, like, he's out there. They made a decision to go with him over Michael Porter Jr., defensive play. He steps up in that play. It didn't matter that he had a bad game before that. It didn't matter that, they didn't push out the lead with the bench unit or, like, hold ground or, like, hold water. Because he just has to have energy. He has to have momentum. He has to make those type of plays. And there was a few plays in this game that he brought it. So, like, yeah, really, I think that Russell Westbrook is, and we're starting to see more of, he's a player that it's impossible to be mad at right now. And that was just never the case anywhere else. There was always those plays that you're pissed off at Russell Westbrook. He's not getting that right now, and that's a winning play. You need that on your team right now.
100%. And the bench minutes are still an absolute disaster. But those few moments he finds a way to make an impact, particularly when he's on the floor with Jokic. You're right. He's doing just enough more often than not for us to go, I liked what he gave tonight. But there are a lot of, I don't know, a lot of sliding door moments for us this season. Peyton Watson only played 17 minutes tonight, only got 1 shot off tonight, 1 field goal, scored 7 points, -17 And it looked like Malone was a little reluctant to go to him at times tonight. What'd you think about Payton?
It was a little bit too fast for him in this one. Just too much of trying to read what was happening. And then they went on the run. And it's not all his fault, but that unit did not work. The one play I remember, it was a kick out 3-pointer where he knocked it down. They called a timeout. Like, the momentum was on Denver's side. And then after that, the floodgates opened. And he was like the recipient for that. That was also a stagger with Steph Curry out there. So like that's going to be difficult too. But you just want him to make those type of plays that can keep them keep things afloat. I just feel like today Peyton Watson was just kind of trying to play it a little bit too cool, and they didn't need too cool. They need you going crazy, you making plays on defense, you running through screens and putting your elbow through a guy because you're just trying to get to a guy so bad. So yeah, I just want more of that tenacity from a defender like Peyton Watson. So I mean I just didn't see the energy tonight. Something
to keep an eye on too. He played really well when Aaron Gordon was out, really well in those Jokic minutes. But it's not a blatant fit with the bench. It's not a super easy fit to see with the bench, and just kind of curious about his role, his attitude, his energy as he goes back to that role. And not only in that role, tonight he played fewer minutes than Julian Strawther, who Malone really turned to a lot. Almost 20 minutes in this game for Julian Strawther. It's only a -4 off the bench, 5 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 2 of 7 though from the floor, and 1 of 4 from 3-point range. But Malone really seems to, I don't know if he just trusts him or feels that his development is pivotal, but he really likes going to Julian Strawther in some pivotal moments.
Yeah, I think he's trying to let him learn on the fly, but also the type of respect that Julian Strawther commands from the defense kind of keeps him out there. Even if he's not making shots, he's a microwave scorer. He can get going, and other teams know that, especially bench units, where he can get it. He also has the intangibles that you can't teach. That I feel like once they get going, and we haven't seen it, it's gonna be good. He's long, he's athletic, he can shoot the 3 ball, he has a floater, he gets to the rim. A little bit of passing in this game. So I feel like it's just one of those things that I think that Malone forgets that he's out there at times. But also I love that he's learning in these type of games right now, because it is going to be pivotal for them in the future of the Nuggets to have him, in those type of spots or playing a little bit more.
Totally. If you can see the game slow down for him and Peyton, those are two guys that try hard to make plays, but then they're on skates out there, perpetually almost falling over, maybe going just a bit too fast. So I agree. I think the hope is these minutes for Strawther pay off and him kind of being a calmer player.
Yeah, you want the game to slow down for him.
100%.
And you're only going to get that with this. You can't put him in the G League. You see what's happening down there.
Right.
If Jalen Pickett's going crazy like that. So, I really do think that these minutes, and he's an NBA player. He is a leaguer, and he's demanding a little bit more. You want the shot to fall a bit more, but I feel like there was a big shot in his game that he knocked down. He does hit those shots where the momentum is on the other team, that he quiets, the noise from the other team, or them trying to go on those type of runs. You just want more of it, and you get that with more minutes.
Agreed. I don't know how. I didn't think he was great tonight, and defensively needs to work on that. But I do think the hope is that these minutes add up to something. So I agree there. But man, Malone really seems to believe in at least what he can be, and he certainly turned to him, I think, more than Peyton in some moments where he had a choice in this game. And obviously they get the win and it works out, but just something to keep an eye on. We'll take another break. On the other side, we'll talk a little bit more about the non-Jokic minutes in general. Is there any hope to even move past an 8-man rotation? Plus, we'll hear from Adam Mares at Ballerina and go through your super chats as well. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. For generations, Toyota's built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. Whether you're conquering off-road trails or hauling the way to the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you, like the all-new 2024 Tacoma and the return of the iconic 2024 Land Cruiser. Toyota offers 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the Epic 4Runner. They also offer more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. To give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint, there are 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. Toyota SUVs take command on the road and on the trail, so you can explore the road less traveled without sacrificing that smooth city ride in SUVs like the RAV4 and Grand Highlander. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores with a location near you. AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets and the official vehicle of DNVR. I went to the tailgate, the DNVR Broncos tailgate last night. It was a great time, man. The nighttime tailgates are a good vibe.
I haven't been to one, actually.
Yeah, nighttime, I would not have thought about that, but they're actually super fun. I had a good time. KO was there. Eric Weedham was there. All of the Broncos diehards were there. Even saw some Nuggets fans there as well. The last Broncos tailgate of 2023 is coming up, so keep an eye out for that. And then also keep your eyes peeled for our takeovers right now, which are available at thednvr.com/events. We're offering our first ever top shelf takeover. It's the same takeovers you know and love with an added bonus. The first people to buy tickets, and they are priced a little differently, you're going to get into a suite this time.
That's sweet.
That's sweet.
That is sweet.
So our takeoverers will get to watch the Nuggets together in a suite. We will also provide different seating, different price seating in the normal section as well. But yeah, sign up for that because get to come to the bar pregame with us, take a party bus to and from the game, get some free Brett brews, watch the Nuggets in a suite. How neat is that? All right, we're back. We're waiting from Adam Mares at Ball Arena. He's waiting to hear from Nikola Jokic. Dev, I think the question the chat wants us to talk about here is there any hope for these non-Jokic minutes? It was an 8-man rotation again. Jokic played 40 minutes again. I mean, some of these answers have obvious questions. Has Zeke been good enough? No. Has Sharge been good enough? No. But you know what else has an obvious answer? Can the Nuggets play an 8-man rotation all year? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, something's got to give here.
I mean, I feel like they just keep on trying to tinker and trying to throw guys out there to see if something sticks. They threw Zeke Naji out there for 5 minutes. How do you think that went?
I don't think it went very well.
It didn't go well. That's them trying to add people. And every single time that he's out there, like, it goes bad for him. And that's not even like a knock to him. Like, it just doesn't work. They throw Dario Saric out there. It's not going well. Like, they're trying to find different things. The thing to be optimistic about for me, in my opinion, is we haven't seen the people that they want to stagger play well in the stagger.
Yeah.
So that, like, I feel like that plays a part of why that's not working. If Zeke Naji's out there with Jamal Murray playing well, I think that he can, play, a little bit better. If Dario Saric is out there with, maybe an Aaron Gordon healthy and playing well, maybe he's able to succeed in those type of ways. So I just think that the stagger hasn't been working, which has now made other people, like, it's been sabotaging those minutes. So as they get healthier, or as they hopefully start playing a little bit better, I think that you could open up the rotation a bit more. You're not hemorrhaging points every single time and having to put Jokic out there early because you're down, after he just had a huge lead and things like that. So really, I don't think that you could blame just straight bench. I don't think that you could blame, guys out there. I feel like the stagger needs to play better, and I think that would help. So hopefully, like, that's the answer.
Yeah, not going to hold my breath for that, unfortunately, because it just hasn't been at any point in the Jokic tenure, even when they were, arguably the sharpest team in the league. That wasn't a part of it. I feel like they have to play Saric, not because he's been good enough, but because they gave him the MLE. He's just sitting there at the end of the bench, unplayable, untradeable. Then the question becomes, well, do you play him at 5? Because he's undersized as a 5. He's not really a 5. He doesn't seem to be fitting with Russ. Okay, well, then play him at the 4. But who's the 5? Zeke Naji, also not a 5. Aaron Gordon, also not a 5. Also a starter that you'd be relying on. I mean, maybe that's some combination of bigs they get to works. They can try Šarić at the 4. I don't know. I just don't think. In fact, I know it can't be an 8-man rotation. I mean, look, technically 9 guys with Zeke's 5 minutes, but they gave up on him, and rightfully so. Minus 11 in those 5 minutes. So this is. I think there are some areas of the Nuggets that I'm actually pretty encouraged by. And then there are some areas that I'm really worried about. And this is way up there. The slow starts defensively and the way Jamal's playing, those are the things that give me more long-term concern. And as of right now, it looks like they have no answer. So that's fun. Should we take a look at some super chats before we hear from Adam at the arena?
Yes.
Let's see what we got here. Mr. Exquisite Nugget. Somewhere, Golden State fans. No, Steph Curry. No, Kale. No, Dev. Yes, vote. I'm confused. We got something right tonight. PS vote. I'm at 57 super SBs and counting. Thanks. Subscriptions. Hell yeah. Cole Bressler. Nikola Jokic gets 3 big booms. Boom. You have to do it, Dev. Boom. Boom.
What's happening?
They paid for it. I'm gonna do it.
What?
Jokic gets 3 big booms. That's a doom for Dev, Kale. All right, what else do we got here?
I also don't know what the
You guys
boom-
don't know what's happening? Someone in the chat knows. The person who paid for that chat knows. CJ Jones, the effort throughout the first 3 quarters was concerning, but the finish was fire. I agree, man. Clutching up against the Warriors always feels good. LFG.
Do you like how the Nuggets defended Steph Curry in this one?
I mean, didn't hate it in the second half. Yeah. What do you think?
I think it was, like just thinking about the last game, how they defended against James Harden. This was night and day type of performance.
Because they held off on sending a bunch of it?
They didn't send the double every single time and just make. First off, he is going to punish. They're both, I think, really, really incredible, passers. But just the way and Curry doesn't have to shoot the ball for him to be destroy your team. So I feel like they were like, hey, no, we're going to play him a little bit more honest. We are going to have some help side. But they forced in some tough shots. They kept him off the 3-point line. He got hot, and I mean he's a legendary player. They are going to get hot. But I think that they defended him pretty well in this one.
When the dust settled, Steph was 8 for 23 from the floor, 4 of 15 from deep.
4 of 15.
Did have 11 assists, but also 5 turnovers. So, yeah, I think overall they did a good job. First half, it seemed like they were a little shell-shocked by all 3 of Golden State's scorers. But I think you're right. I think it's a good juxtaposition with the way they guarded Harden and how that cost them down the stretch for sure. Jay, some nights you just have to hang on and enjoy the roller coaster. From the Avs to the Nuggets, we all need to just enjoy the rides. Vibes up.
Oh, that is great. They both had it looked like it was going to be in the losers lounge for both of us. Both of us get the win, Avs and the Nuggets. And really, I know that. I mean, Jay has been at the bar and she has her own spot and things like that. That was probably it was probably been crazy if she was here. But that has to be one of those okay, that felt good. That was a good feeling night.
It was a good night. I didn't have confidence that the Nuggets would win this game until the Avs did their comeback. And then I thought, you know what? These 2 teams are spiritually joined at the hip, by the way. It's just the injury year on the wrong side of the title. And other than that, they've really had the same 3-4 year run. Tamir Tahir, I hated the MPJ sub for Russ. Steph was putting Jamal in every action, but MPJ has to leave the court. Tired of Malone ruining Mike's confidence. To be fair, it did immediately work out.
It did work out. Also, you need a guard. Would you want Michael Porter Jr. out there guarding Steph Curry at time? You just don't. That was not a big team, and Michael Porter Jr. is a taller, lankier guy out there that's a little bit slower than a Russell Westbrook trying to get through screens and things like that. Yeah. So I don't think it's a knock at Michael Porter Jr. I think that it was a good decision of putting a guard on him and making him work. And then also, you sent that after the game. You saw that it worked.
It's a little hard to complain about. The other thing was, he didn't really close with him instead of MPJ. There was a dead ball and room for a defensive sub. So I got that one. But I do know what you mean. It can be a little frustrating sometimes when it seems like Porter's playing well. That said, this one worked out right away. Chunk Dick Wells burner. Bookmark it. Nugs head into the December 23rd game against the Suns on a 6-game winning streak. Speaking of streaking, my mother saw a man streaking through a church. They caught him by the organ. Thank you, Chunks. Thank you, Chunk.
First off, hold on. Let's break it down.
Yeah, break it down.
Not that part. He said they're going to go on a 6-game winning streak. That would be fun. That would be a fun streaking experience.
We could use it, man.
And I'm looking at the calendar. That means it's pretty soon. They're about to start the winning streak pretty soon.
Thank goodness, man. I hope Chunk Dick Wells burner is right. You know what I mean? I'm always saying that, though. 5-5-5-5-5-ish. Until it is statistically impossible for it to happen, the goal of 555 minutes for Zeke will not budge. Speaking of 68 minutes and 6 seconds down, only 400 and, does that say, I can't see from here, 66?
486.
486 and 54 seconds till 555. Let's go make a statement and beat the Cavs. Hey, that'd be awesome.
Hold on real fast. It's not impossible?
I mean, technically it's not impossible. It's not going to happen, but that's a different conversation.
Do we want to break and move to Adam real quick?
Yeah, let's break and move to Adam, and then we'll finish with the super chats from our friends. Sports media. Adam Addis calls in from Ball Arena.
Oh, we're doing now. I thought after the break. What's up, fellas?
Oh, no, dude. Come on in. Come on down. We could use you.
I love it, man. The 2-man game in the Winners Lounge. What point did you guys think this was a win?
It's a great question.
45 seconds left?
Jokic
somewhere
is
around
and
there?
one. I actually thought Jokic is and one after the call, after they went to review.
Mine was after the
I'll
last
tell you what, I
Warrior
did not
shot.
feel. Yeah, for real. This did not feel like a win at any point of this game till the very, very end, which I guess you could take as a one of two ways. You could be frustrated with it. I'll tell you, Michael Malone and Jamal Murray and even Aaron Gordon after the game, they took it as a good sign, as a good thing that the team was able to gut it out, which I think is, kind of shows you where their mind frame is. Michael Malone says, I thought our guys were about the right things tonight. The huddles, guys were talking, supporting, holding each other accountable. We were 5 guys working as one. To me, that's the money quote from the post game today. I don't know that I necessarily felt that during the game, and I'm not sure Michael Malone would have played that note had they lost this game. But that sentiment was reiterated both by Aaron Gordon and by Jamal. So I think, we've talked a lot about this team and what's going on. I do think that this team is probably less cohesive than ones we've seen in the past. So these incremental, meaningful guys covering for each other, to me, is actually really important. And if they're feeling it, even if I'm not necessarily seeing it, I think that's a good takeaway. I love this one, though, from Michael Malone. He was asked about teams targeting Jamal defensively, because in this game, they were going at him nonstop, Steph Curry nonstop. And he had this great quote. He said, in this league, guys talk. You got to take it personally. In this league, guys talk. And if you're the mark on defense, everyone in the league is going to talk and say, that's the mark on defense, go at him. So what can you do? You sit down, you guard, and you get stops. He thought Jamal did that in the clutch tonight. But I thought it was it's honestly one of those great Malone one-liners of like, hey, man, if you're a mark and teams are going at you, they're going to go at you until you're no longer discussed as the guy that they're going at. And right now, Jamal is on that island. And it's, how he responds is going to be interesting. And then he just said, this is what it takes. It wasn't pretty. He likes that they closed on a 13-2 run because it was the 2 that stood out to him, not the 13. It was the stops. And I think he kind of likes it. To win in this league, winning ugly is, I think Malone kind of likes that more than winning pretty, which I thought was good. Lastly, Aaron Gordon had a minute restriction. He said, I went over that. We had to win the game. So I thought that was kind of a fun acknowledgement.
I agree that they need to win the game, but it doesn't assuage concern.
Malone also had a funny one. He was talking about, he goes, I took 2 challenges tonight. I won both. I lost 2 timeouts. He's very upset about that. He's like, somebody explain that to me. And he has a point. You know what? Almost cost him the game tonight. Jamal Murray had this quote. He was asked about Jokic scoring more this year and what he's seeing from him. And a very self-aware quote, I thought. He said, Jokic is making up for everybody. I'm not shooting well. He's just being aggressive. His game is always, it's slightly different because you don't know where they're doubling from, but right now he knows we need points and he's scoring them. I thought that was a, nice little thing from him. He talked about the block shot at the end, which I thought, it's so funny, man. I got to have a message to Nuggets fans, especially our fans. It's okay to enjoy this game. It was annoying. It was frustrating. There were moments of it that were tough. I put out there that I thought Jamal Murray's block, because it was such a layup. It was such a, this is about to be a layup, and it was the nail in the coffin. Jamal made a great play on it and goes the other way. He wasn't good tonight by any means, but that play was so big, and it really did flip the game. From that moment on, Denver really took over, and it's okay to celebrate that. I had a lot of people in my mention saying, how are you going to praise him after that game? It was that play. That play won the game. Sometimes it's as simple as that.
Two things can be true. A guy can have a poor performance and make a play that helps him win a game. It happens a lot. Adam, is that your big takeaway? Would you have anything else you'd want to leave as a kind of parting thought for us here?
I think it's good to win ugly and to win the way that they did. I don't know if I have a big takeaway from this game other than this is a familiar win. The Nuggets, when they were champions, had this win 20 different times.
Yeah.
They haven't had it. In fact, it's been the opposite for them. So as ugly as this game was, and I think there's a lot of work to do, there is a weird encouraging piece to all of this, and that is, of course, that they got to win with defense in the clutch and then execution, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think it's that weird. They won. It's good that they won, in my opinion. So I enjoyed watching it.
All
right. Well,
shout out my boys. 2-man game in the Winners Lounge. Love to see it. Take care, homies.
Thanks, Adam. Man, I'm surprised at the tone of that report. You'd think they lost this game. They didn't. All right, a few more super chats to hit, and then we're on our way out of here. Port friend, imagine being a ref and having Malone and Kerr screaming at you the entire game. Luckily, Kerr had more reasons to be mad tonight.
Well, also, not only are you getting screamed at during the game, Kerr is going to be pissed off at you after the game. There's something personal about the Nuggets. It's something that I'm sure he circles that one.
Do you know what it is, Dev? It's 11 of the last 12 games being a loss. I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, that would do it for me, too.
That would do it for me. Liz, A5280. Why does Malone keep calling timeouts when down like 12 points every time? Other team calls it while up by that much. All hail Jokic.
I mean, they're coming back. They're coming back for him, so maybe he just kind of knows the team. But it will be great for them to go up 12.
Hey, I'd like to see that a little more often. Maddox gets the last word. Gotta play defense. I see Jamal coming along. Hashtag Windy Babes. All right, chat. Well, we appreciate you here. After a winner's lounge, important reminder, they did win the game. So that's nice. The Nuggets pick up a win. Dev and I are going to go home. What do you think about that, Dev?
I mean, it's late, and we're back at it in like 2 days.
We're back at it in 2 days. And we'll be here tomorrow on the DNVR show. Get some hangover takes in there. We'll talk to you guys then. Enjoy the night.